views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the hosts and guests, and not necessarily those of the staff and management of WWDB-TV.
Y'all ready for this?
Brother, good to see you again.
Same here.
Good to see you again. Cheers.
Cheers, and let's have a great show.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's tasty. Very good. Welcome. Thanks for joining in again to our weekly edition of Let's Talk Sports with Rick and Jack. Got a lot to talk about this week. We had a fun week last week, a lot of great reaction. That was just our first show, and it went very, very well, but we got a lot to talk about today, a lot of sports with football starting and what's going on in the NBA and the NHL. So a lot to talk about. How was your week last week? How was your Labor Day weekend?
Not bad. I had practice with my son. Oh, man, that first...
Kelton, right?
Yeah, that first...
The superstar running back.
Yes, the only problem is he got my hand-eye coordination. He couldn't even catch a cold that first half of practice.
His mind wasn't there, huh? He kept dropping the ball.
He couldn't catch it. So
I always tell him he's going to the NFL, so he better get a little more serious.
I gotta get.
His son is a great athlete. Great athlete. He got the mama's talents, not the daddy. The daddy don't have no sports talent.
No.
Let's get it straight, and he don't know Jack. He tells me I don't know Jack, but the kid's got the mama's talent. Anyways, it was a good Labor Day weekend.
Yes, absolutely. A little bit of quiet time. How was yours?
Mine was good. It was kind of unique. The family was away in St. Louis visiting family, and it was odd because I'm used to having my daughter right by my side all the time, and it was like, wow, my daughter's gone for 4 days, and my wife is gone, and it was like really different. But what it did was give me a chance to text you a lot about sports, and give me a chance to watch sports and horse racing, the Kentucky Derby, and these type of things. And it was kind of funny because, as you know, we text back and forth every day about sports. That's our thing. We love our sports, and I got to tell you, he used that line, "I don't know Jack," and I'm going to tell you what happened quickly, and we'll move on. So he texted me saying, "Oh man, Boston's got this series against Toronto. I know it's 2-2 now, and Toronto got back in the series." I said, "Hold on, Boston isn't going to win anything. Boston's done. They've lost 2 in a row. Toronto, right?" I said, "is going to take this series the next 2." Well, we all know the result. Boston ended up clowning them and winning that game, and Boston now leads 3-2 and probably will win tonight. But the first thing he said to me was, "Rick, you don't know Jack."
Absolutely.
That was embarrassing. And then we started talking about the Kentucky Derby. Show you how little I know about sports. I talk. I don't know much. So we compared Kentucky Derby. He said Authentic was going to win. I said, I don't know. Tiz the Law's pretty tough to beat. And if you know horse racing, Tiz the Law was a monster horse. Authentic
Hadn't lost.
Hadn't lost. and had a great year. And Authentic had a good beginning to the career, 2-year-old career. And a 3-year-old was not that great. But Bob Baffert factor, we all know about Bob Baffert and winning Kentucky Derbies. He's 1-6 now. Anyways, Authentic won. Tiz the Law came in second.
And I won my bet.
He won his bet. I lost my bet. And again, what did you tell me?
You don't know Jack.
I don't know Jack.
He can't say that to me because I am Jack. So
you are Jack, but I can't say that to you. And I will say that to you. We got a lot to talk about here, so we got much to compare, and then we'll really get into how we did next week. So let's start off with hockey. Our Golden Knights.
Our hometown Golden Knights finally got a few goals in the net last night. Finally, so I don't have to hear our hometown fans that don't know about hockey not knowing that 3 years in, this is pure gold for a hockey fan dream for their team to be in the playoffs for 3 years in a row and actually playing at this level. So, yeah. But it won't be easy to get to the Stanley Cup. Dallas is not just gonna sit there and just let them steamroll them for the rest of the series. And then on the East, man, we got Tampa Bay
Lightning and
8-2 to the Islanders.
New York Islanders.
My gosh.
Yeah, 8-2. They play tonight.
That Tampa Bay team they were supposed to win it last year, so I can just see them with a whole lot of regrets from last season and making a point this season to actually make it to the Stanley Cup and win. So both series, I think it's going to come down to the wire. I just think they're going to make it. The Islanders are going to make adjustments, and hopefully we can actually get a good series.
Yeah, it's interesting because the Islanders are a very good team, a very good team that had a great year. Tampa Bay is also a very good team. I think, personally, Tampa Bay is going to win out. I'm a guy who likes to make predictions and either say, yeah, I'm the best, or, boy, I really suck.
And I'm a guy that's going to say you don't know Jack when you're wrong.
Okay. and I appreciate that, but you think Islanders are going to win that series and go to the Stanley Cup?
So one of the factors is the Islanders just came off a Game 7 win.
Yeah.
So maybe they put a lot into that last Game 7. They didn't quite get rested. Yes, it's professional sports, but at the end of the day, they're all humans. So I think they're going to make adjustments and show that they belong here in this series.
Okay, so you're going to take the Islanders and I'm going to take Tampa Bay for another six-pack, right? How many do I owe you? It's going to be that truckload soon that I talk about. But in football, I'll get it all back, baby.
Officially, we only have one bet, and that's for Buffalo and New York. Hopefully, my New York Jets have a better record.
We'll talk about that later because they play each other this week.
Yes.
So we'll make the mega bet on that one. But it's usually about libations. Anyways, Golden Knights, Dallas Stars. Who wins the series? Not because you're a homer, not because you live in Vegas. Tell it the way it is. Come on.
On paper, the Golden Knights are supposed to win. They have so much offensive threat. It's just a matter of getting it into the net, and they're having chances. It's just they're not getting into the nets. And the last game, they end up getting 3 of them. Actually, one it was 4, but 1 got called back.
Yeah, they dominated.
Very much so, which was surprising based on Game 1. So hopefully, moving forward, they'll play like they're supposed to, like the Golden Knights that we're used to. And I think they're actually going to make it to the finals.
Yeah, we hope so. So you're going with a final of the Golden Knights versus the Islanders,
yes.
Correct? And contrary to what you believe, I'm going to go with Tampa Bay and Dallas. Now, all you people out there in Las Vegas land who are so loyal to this team, you can get after me, email us back, call us, whatever you want to do, get a hold of us. Tell me I'm stupid. Tell me I don't know Jack, but I'll take Dallas just because I like the bet and I like the controversy. So I'll take Dallas versus Tampa Bay. Deal? You want to bet on that? Just a friendly. Okay. Let's move on. Good luck, seriously, to the Golden Knights. Good luck. This town is awesome for their spirit and the way they follow this team. I've never seen people come together for a sports team. It's really incredible, and I commend all of you in Vegas who are really loyal to your team. But I think Dallas is going to win the series. So send the hate mail to rickmanarino@gmail.com, or text me at 702-378-3374, or get a hold of Mr. John Stiles at WWDBTV. But I say Dallas is going to win. Let's talk about it. This is what it's about. It's a controversial sports talk show. Let's talk about it. NBA. Let's go to NBA. Enough of hockey. Send the hate mail. NBA, what you think? What's going on? Tell me about the NBA. What are your impressions right now as it's getting closer to the finals?
So the last time we spoke, both LA teams haven't even played yet, and I was thinking that what the Clippers did to the Nuggets, the Lakers would come out and do the same thing for Houston. Was I wrong? I would admit I was wrong with that first game.
Houston was awesome.
They made so much adjustments that first game, especially that first half, and I was like, oh man, I was texting you. This was so good that they adjusted so much, and then the third quarter, Houston came out and rained with those plethora of threes. Oh,
they can shoot.
I thought the Lakers were done. I'm like, and then, Star Power showed up, and you see the veteran leadership of Rajon Rondo show up. Despite him having minutes restriction, he was still out there doing his thing, going over and making sure that they close out that game. Superb. He's another respect level for me with him.
Absolutely. I mean, last night's game, He literally took over. And the interesting thing is, in all 3 games, now the Lakers up 2-1, in all 3 games, going to the fourth quarter, Houston has been in the lead. And the last 2, the Lakers have taken it over. Now, last night, Rondo was awesome. I hadn't seen him as good as that in many years. I realized what a facilitator he is, how he gets everybody involved, how he passes, how he shoots when they let him shoot, because they back off of him and let him shoot that 3. Well, good for them, because he's hitting them. And he also plays defense. And LeBron is the beast that LeBron is. He had 30 points in the first half last night. LeBron is a leader. That guy works so hard. And the Lakers are going to be there against, I believe, the Clippers in the Western Conference Final.
But before the series even started, we had a conversation about how are the Lakers going to be successful, and it's having that third guy, which I thought Kuzma was going to be that third guy.
Yeah, everybody's felt that for years, and he hasn't been that.
But look at Rondo.
Oh,
he showed up big time.
I mean, again, I can't emphasize that enough. I saw him in Boston as a leader, and he was younger then, and his career was tumultuous for many years before he came to the Lakers. He just couldn't get on that team, and now that he's gotten healthy, I'm telling you, what a respect I have for that guy. The last 2 games, what a respect I have for that guy.
And then during that time too, when he was like in a sense having temper issues and stuff, and I think it had a lot to do with his injuries, because somebody like that, their whole life is to play basketball, and the fact that he couldn't play at the highest level like he's used to, frustration kicked in.
Yeah, you need a guy like him, and I had forgotten about his talents. I thought he was done, because I remember when he was in Dallas and he didn't want to play, and Mark Cuban was so upset that they released him before the end of the season. And it was like, oh my God, in Dallas, that was a bad gig. And he's had a couple other, I think he was in New Orleans or wherever he was. But when the Lakers picked him up, I'm like, what are they picking up this old guy for? What's he going to do? And then season started, he's been hurt most of the year. Then, coronavirus. Then he had a back injury or hand injury or something, hamstring. And now he's at full health. And I'm saying that guy's a good basketball player.
Do you know he's only 2 years younger than LeBron?
Wow. So LeBron's what, 36?
Yeah, he'll be 36 in a couple months.
So 34 years old.
Yeah.
He's like, with the Clippers, Lou Williams. Lou Williams is about 34 now, isn't he? There's another great player. He hasn't been great in the bubble. But what do you think about the Clipper-Denver series? What's happening there?
Paul George showed up, and Murray
finally
has not. This is not the same Murray that was in the
14 points the other night.
Yeah,
he was horrible.
But then you also have 2 defensive juggernaut in Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. That's going to hold him down. Not to mention it's a team effort.
And Morris is also a great. They put Morris on him a little bit, so they're rotating who's guarding him. But again, I talked about this a little bit last week, that this guy goes out and scores 50 one night, 42 the next night, 50 the next night, and has some horrible games after that. And it's like, it's all about defense. If you guard anybody hard in the NBA and you're capable of being a good defensive player, you're going to shut him down. Murray looked embarrassing the other night. Jokovic is the guy. He's the whole team there. And Denver cannot keep up with the Clippers. Clippers, as you know, brings all these guys in that are role players and play so well. And Morris is playing so well for the Clippers. And I'm like, it's funny. Both one brother on the Clippers and one brother on the Lakers. And I think the only one with the Clippers is a little better player, Marquise and Marquez, or Marquise and whatever it is. But the Morris brothers are hardworking guys. So in the West, you see a series between the Clippers and Lakers, which was inevitable from the beginning.
It's almost like it was set up that way.
Yeah. And we'll talk about who's going to do it once we see it. In the East, Boston looks like they're going to close it out today. I'm going to go out and say Boston closes out Toronto tonight to win that series. Miami beats the great Milwaukee team with Giannis. The best record, the best defense, and the best offense. #1 seed, Milwaukee blows it again. I believe it's very poor coaching. That guy won Coach of the Year, by the way, their coach. And I can't believe it that he was Coach of the Year, because I saw a lot of mistakes in these playoffs. He was terrible. He never adjusted. He was out-coached. Spoelstra's a great coach, the Miami coach. Great coach. But Miami just works hard. And Jimmy Butler's better than I thought he was, by the way. I never really watched Jimmy a lot, but I've watched him during these playoffs because I've watched so much basketball. I love the NBA. I love the game, even in the bubble.
I used to follow Jimmy ever since he was on the
He's a fine player.
On the Bulls. He just never had the right fit. Even when he was in Philadelphia, that still wasn't the right fit for him. And to see him go into Miami right now and flourish like the way he is right now.
He's happy.
He's happy, and he shows more grit, more heart, and leads
He's
that
tough.
team.
He's
yes.
tough. He's tough. You know, I saw the interview after the game last night, and they were interviewing him, and they said, well, man, you've accomplished so much. You've made it to the Eastern Conference Finals. It was supposed to be Milwaukee. You were number 5 seed. They were number 1. You beat them easily. And they were like, don't you feel so great? He goes, we haven't accomplished anything yet. And I just loved it. He said, we have not accomplished anything yet. We won a series, but we got our next series. Accomplishing something is winning it all, getting to the finals and winning them. We have not accomplished anything, and he wouldn't take the praise. And I'm like, man, that's my kind of guy. He
Absolutely.
is like all ball, not all pop off. And, you know, I seen guys, you know, all the antics with, you know, Murray and all the crying and stuff and all. That's good. I mean, I know he's emotional, and I get all that. But a little too emotional about the game and everything else, and he's been shut down. Jimmy Butler doesn't act like that.
No,
LeBron doesn't act like that. Last night in his interview, LeBron gave all the credit to the coaching staff, the trainers, the people that rebound the ball, the ball boy, the other players, the coaching staff, the trainers. LeBron never gave himself credit. And guess what? That's an awesome dude. That's a real dude. That's what I call a dude. And I love those kind of guys. And you see him, you know, same thing with a Paul George. Here was a guy that was playing so bad, he said, I had to talk to the team psychologist to get it right because I lost confidence. I had to talk to somebody. For a man who's so great to say that. And that's why I love this. It's so up close and personal. And, you know, for me personally, I love NBA. And I love the up close and personal about it. But so we're talking Lakers, Clippers, and Boston, Miami.
Yep.
Next week we'll talk about it a little further. We won't get into who's going to do what and who's going to win it all. No, we'll save that for another week, and we'll talk more about that. But as you can see, I mean, we love NBA a lot, and it's a good game. But now it's time to move on to what we've all been waiting for, football. Football season is upon us. Yes, all you fantasy football players. Yes, all you people that love to go to the casino and gamble. You can go to the casinos now. You don't have to stay 6 feet apart. You can still have your beers and have hot dogs and have a great time. But football is here, brother. What do you got to say about that? It's football season. Yeah, let's do it.
Now I have my Sundays. It's going to be games in the morning with my son. And then, you know, hopefully I'm not too distracted on my phone with my fantasy football.
Oh, I know. You're a big fantasy player.
Yes.
You're a big fantasy player, man. I got no patience for it. But it's huge. It's a $1 billion industry. It's more than that. And fantasy football is huge. I mean, wives lose their husbands in football season. And a lot of women play, by the way.
Yes.
A lot of, man, I hear these women talking fantasy football, and I'm like, damn, girl, you are awesome. So what do you think? What's going to happen? We're going to play all year? Is COVID going to end up messing us up? Or we're going to have a season? And I know we're going to have week 1.
But I think we're actually going to have an entire season. Just the fact that even the NFL, that they adjusted the rosters to, in a sense, accommodate for COVID. You know, but we also know it's a talent-driven league. So despite them being, you have more on the reserve side. You know, that talent is not gonna say make up for, like, perfect example, Von Miller being out right now.
Killer.
Might be for the duration of the season. You cannot replace his talent on that defense for Denver. So, you know, it's like, will the play go on? Yes, but hopefully we won't have enough reserves in to diminish the talent that's on the field.
Yeah, it's funny. You're talking about Von Miller's injury, which is so critical. In the Chargers just lost their free safety, who is an unbelievable football player. He was the best talent on the team. And 2 years in a row he got hurt. But I believe that because these guys are not game ready, this week is going to be so sloppy. Because these guys play scrimmages. You cannot take a scrimmage and put it into a game situation. Scrimmage is not like a game.
It's almost touch football.
Yeah, and now, you know, the quarterback's always protected, and so
Don't
now
touch
I believe
the red shirt.
Yeah, don't touch him, even in scrimmage. And I saw it last night on Hard Knocks. It's a show that I love. I don't know if any of you watch Hard Knocks, but what a great show. It's so emotional when they got to cut these young kids, these 21-year-old kids, and these coaches become attached to them in 6 or 7 weeks, and it was so emotional last night. And if you get a chance, it's on HBO. Watch Hard Knocks. It is really a good show, and we agree on that. It's real close. It's a human show. It shows a lot besides football, so it's really cool. So I think injuries are really going to dominate this year. I can't see guys going in there in the best of shape, and to play 60 minutes of football, banging on each other, it's going to be sloppy the first couple of weeks. You agree?
Absolutely, because as much as we didn't necessarily like preseason, but those final 2 games of preseason kind of it made them break certain people's career, whether or not they made the team. Some guys were one interception or 1 tackle away from making the team.
That's the emotion.
But it's nothing like having to read another defense or another offense to see where your team is at, and they weren't able to do that really, other than you're watching film from previous years, and there was so much changes this past off season, which is probably like the first I've seen so many changes in an NFL season. It's usually 5 or 6 key players, but now this season so many rotation of whether it's running back, quarterbacks. Like, can you believe Phillip Rivers is a Colt right now?
Oh my God! And does he have anything left in the tank? Does he?
He does.
Still got a good arm.
He does, and I think this is probably going to be the best O-line that he's played with, because he used to get beat up in San Diego. So maybe we'll actually see him do something. And he actually has a good running back, so he's got that running threat that's really going to keep defenses honest. And what's the running back in
I don't know
Tennessee?
off the top. In Tennessee or Indianapolis?
Oh, in Indianapolis.
Yeah.
Man. Oh, it's so it's gonna be Rivers, Marlon Mack, and Hilton. All right. So you ready to go down each game?
Yeah. So first of all, here's the football. I'm so happy it started. Let's get it started. Let's have some fun. Let's talk about some games and some point differences and our differences, and we're going to do this weekly.
Okay. So
to you and to football. So go ahead.
So are we gonna have a disclaimer now? So based on your picks, it's based on how much you've had to drink so far?
No. I have had, half a beer.
So I just want to make sure.
No, because
when I call you out that you don't know Jack, you're not gonna say,
listen,
"Hey, it's because of the beer."
Listen, the great thing about it is this: every show is filmed, so we'll be able to go back at the end of the season and say who was right on more games and who was wrong. And I'll guarantee it, that I have more games right than you. I'll bet a truckload of beer on that. I know I'm going to outdo you this year. Let's go. Let's stop it all.
Hey, that guarantee only worked once.
Let's
And you know when
get our people
when that guarantee ever worked?
Check in with us.
Super Bowl III, and you know who was that quarterback that guarantee?
Who? Joe Namath.
Absolutely.
Of course.
Joe Namath. So
the man, you kidding me? Guaranteed it. So
guaranteed it. Everybody else
I'm going to pull a Joe Namath. You're going to tell me each week, Joey, you're wrong. You can call me Joey. Anyways, here we go. Let's get into some football. Thanks for viewing. I got a game here right off the bat. Tomorrow night, Kansas City favored by 9. And everybody's got different point totals, but we'll go with the ones we have available today. Kansas City favored by 9 over Houston in Kansas City. Your pick?
I'm gonna go with Houston. I think Mahomes basically coming off that Super Bowl high, and Watson is gonna do his thing. He just got paid just like Mahomes did, but I think he's still that Super Bowl eluded him, and he's on the drive to get it.
Is J.J. Watt going to stay healthy all year?
I hope so. That's one guy that
a beast.
I think he should do so. He can do so well if he's healthy. When he's on that field, he is havoc to deal with.
Oh my God! The way he rushes the quarterback 110% every time, I mean, he is a beast. I love that guy. And a great guy. So you're going to take Houston. I believe the Kansas City opening it at home, on a high, winning the championship, Mahomes a new contract, a few new good players. I think Kansas City wins by 21 or more. I'll take Kansas City. What's that look for?
Just making sure that we're drinking the same thing.
What's in your water? That's really water, by the way. Hey, we wouldn't drink on set.
Oh my
wink,
God.
Wink,
Oh.
Anyway, that's it. I'm
21. Okay. All right.
21 or more.
Okay.
21 or more. Okay. Let's move on to the next one. We got, oh my God, the New York Jets at the Buffalo Bills. The Bills favored by 6.5 points. I know you got the Jets, but give me a reason why you got the Jets. Because you're a homer. You love the Jets. That's your only reason?
It's my team. A little bit of heart behind it, hoping that they can do well with Darnold and Bell. The problem is we don't necessarily have a receiving core. You know, Crowder is kind of injured right now. Josh Allen, what, third year in at in Buffalo?
Yeah. He's erratic, but
not to mention that deep threat with Diggs. It all comes down to that protection with Sam Darnold. If Sam Darnold get protected, I think the Jets will win. I cannot bet against my team, or I won't go against them unless.
I get it, and that's that's nothing wrong with that. It's great to be loyal to your team, even though you know you're wrong. So. and I like Buffalo a lot, and I'll say, and I like to throw points out there. I'll say Buffalo wins by more than 10. The reason being is I think Allen will be improved this year. I think he has great talent. He showed signs of really being good last year. Had some rough moments in the playoffs, wow. But, again, getting Diggs is amazing. That's for them is a big, big pickup. He's going to help them a lot. But more than anything, that defense is a great defense, and I believe they will dominate Darnold and the Jets. Le'Veon Bell, I think he's over the hill, to be honest with you, and all you people taking him in fantasy, I don't understand it because that guy hasn't done anything in about 3 years other than complain about contracts. So I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of him, but you can be a fan of him.
Well, that's one of the things I don't do with fantasy. I actually don't pick up any Jets players. Just because I don't want to have that.
Well, why would I blame
emotion? That emotion.
Emotion, they're no good. Darnold is average on his best day. Hey, and Bell is over the hill, and I couldn't even tell you who the rest of their players are.
So you put 10 points on a division game?
Yeah, I think they'll win by more than 10.
Wow. Okay.
Here's another great game. Minnesota favored by 2.5 at home against Green Bay. Now that's a football game. What do you think?
Other than Rodgers and Devontae Adams, who else is going to make an impact on that team? No one. So with Cousins and Dalvin Cook and Thielen, I'll take Minnesota. Rodgers is going to have to prove that it wasn't McCarthy. It was McCarthy and not him. But I don't think he has enough talent around him this year to actually make that statement. So I'm gonna go with Minnesota.
Okay, you do know though that Green Bay had a good year running the football last year. They had a good running game last year, and they were one of the leaders in rushing. So I think that they're going to probably rush the ball pretty good again. But going into Minnesota, I agree with you on that one. By the way, I believe that Minnesota at home, even though you don't have the fans there, I believe Minnesota is going to win that game, and I believe they're going to be a contender for the Super Bowl this year. I really like Minnesota's team. They loaded up on defense. They already had a good defense, and their coach is a great defensive specialist. So I think Minnesota wins that game, so I would have to agree with you. I think they win it by 5 or more. But, again, 2.5, who knows? I mean, the man, Aaron Rodgers, may show up and be so pissed off that they drafted Love at quarterback with their first-round draft choice. He was so mad about that. He still is. I don't know which way it's going to go, if he's going to be resentful or if he's going to be, sorry, guys, I'm going to show you who really is a great quarterback. I think he's going to have a big year, really. Well, he's a proud guy.
Sometimes
they shouldn't have drafted Love.
No, but you need a decent backup they did. Remember they did the same thing with him when Favre was there. they drafted
Yeah.
him, and he was basically he was coming out of college. He was a phenomenal quarterback. It's just you have to be ready at any given moment. Like last year when Breeze went out, Teddy Bridgewater went right in there.
It was unbelievable.
Kept that winning streak
What, he went
alive.
5 in a row?
5 in a row. So that when Breeze came back
And lost
it
the
was,
first game.
It was basically right back into
Yeah.
into the swing of things. So he can be mad all he wants, but at the end of the day, it's an organizational choice to make sure that they're going to be winning for years to come.
Yeah. And we'll see if love is the answer in years to come. Anyways,
Love is always the answer, isn't
yeah,
it?
of course. Love is always the answer. Yes, exactly. You're right.
And
Love
we
is the way. What a great name for a quarterback.
yeah,
Love.
But we do a lot of things for love.
Amen.
But
Amen.
I wouldn't
We
do
won't
that.
get into that today. Hey, we won't get into that today. Anyways, this is a sports show. Now we got a dog coming up. Philadelphia, -6 at Washington. Philadelphia favored by 6 at Washington.
So I got a question for you before
Yes.
you even pick that. Other than Haskins, who else is on the Washington team?
I have no idea.
Exactly. So who are you going with? Philadelphia?
Philadelphia. all the way.
Despite they're already being a mess there.
I go with Philadelphia, but it's going to be right around that 6 to 7 point total, I think. But so I do like Philadelphia, but only because I got to pick somebody. I don't like either team. You know, I was watching a show on NFL last night, Fox on NFL, and they were critiquing the season, and they were saying that Philadelphia isn't going to even come second in the division. Dallas is going to win it so easily. They're all picking Dallas for the Super Bowl, which we'll see what happens.
Well, with that division having Dallas, New York, the Giants not doing anything, and then Philadelphia and Washington, in disarray.
What a dead conference.
Oh my gosh, Dallas should run away with it.
Those guys are all going to be 500 or less, and Dallas is probably going to go 11-5.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think Dallas is for real. It's their year, I think. Anyways, here's another good game. Well, maybe not. Indianapolis, -7 at Jacksonville.
Well,
I don't even like the game.
so-
I like Rivers. It'll be fun to watch Rivers.
so again, I'm gonna throw a name out there, right?
Philip Rivers? Oh,
For Jacksonville, is it Minshaw or Minshew?
Minshew
So other
from
than
Washington State.
other than Minshew,
What do you mean other than Minshew? This
who
is
else
his
is
second year.
Who else is on that team?
Listen,
Do you realize?
first of all, Minshew is going to have the sophomore tough year. I didn't think he was that good at Washington
Not to
State.
mention not having a running back that's going to be able to run that ball to keep the defense honest. They are going to have to be throw heavy, and who do they have to throw it to?
The Colts win that game easily. I think by 20 or more points in Jacksonville. Jacksonville in my opinion, has nothing. Nothing.
And T.Y. Hilton is going to he has a quarterback in Rivers
Yeah,
that likes to throw the ball downfield.
Oh,
And
yeah.
T.Y. likes to catch it downfield.
It could be a banner year for T.Y. He's been hurt the last couple.
Not to mention that the offensive line for the Colts is actually
Yeah,
decent.
yeah, they got a good coach. I like Frank Reich a lot. I think that guy is a great coach. I think he does really well with that team. They made the playoffs last year when you didn't even. They just
they were.
outworked everybody. I didn't expect it.
No.
So I expect them to have a good year, but I expect them to win that game easily. Now we got a pretty good game. Seattle, -2 at Atlanta. I mean, what kind of team is Seattle going to have this year? And Atlanta at one time had a lot of players, but lately, man, they've struggled. Matt Ryan's been good and he's been bad. What do you think?
Well, let's see what Gurley could do this year.
That'll be interesting.
On the running game side,
Yeah.
and Julio Jones is getting old, so let's not. And I say old, but I mean like when it comes to NFL years, you know, he's been one of the top receivers, but at the same time he's been banged up too over the years. Wilson, I think this is the year that they're gonna actually let him play because they've seen success with Jackson in Houston. Or Watson in Houston, Jackson in with the Ravens,
Baltimore,
and then with Kansas City. You see Mahomes, they actually just let him play. So maybe this is the year that Pete Carroll is gonna say, let Wilson start from the get-go, just airing out the ball and doing his thing, rather than playing catch-up at the end of the game. So maybe this is the year for Seattle. He's got Lockett, and then for over the middle, he has Olsen, which is should be good for him on the tight end side.
Yeah, it was a good pickup. He's again, he's getting a little old, but he's prone to injury. But I think Seattle's going to really pick it up on defense this year. I think Seattle's going to have a big year. I'm a top Pete Carroll fan. He gets the most out of his players, and I think Seattle will win this game, and I think they'll win it fairly easily. You agree with me?
Yeah, you know who will win this year? Whatever company that makes the gum that Pete Carroll chews.
Oh my God, that's good. I like it. Man, is that the truth? Is that the truth?
Man,
I love Pete.
Is it how many? Is it 2 or 3 pieces he's chewing?
Two or three packs. You mean? I mean what energy though? That guy is 68 years old.
And he goes up and down that field like anybody.
I love him.
Yeah.
I would love to see. I love Russell Wilson, and I would love to see them in. I would love to see them in the Super Bowl. And I don't think that they're going to get there, but I like them against Atlanta. So you agree?
Yeah, I'll definitely take them. I'll take Seattle.
Another poor game coming up. Chicago versus Detroit. Matt Patricia, what a bad experiment coming. He was a great defensive coach over there in friggin' New England, but man, he hasn't had his players' attention in Detroit in 2 years. I mean, this is not a good football team. And Chicago, they seem to be going backwards instead of forwards. They look like they were on the cusp of being a great team, but now they got, a fight at quarterback. Have they named a starter yet? But that's Chicago. I think lacks leadership. I don't really like this game at all. I mean, what do we got?
Chicago is a team that it's like they're like the Raiders of the West, where you basically players go to die or retire.
Yeah.
So right now we have Trubisky as the starter there, and then we have Jimmy Graham. At one point, on the fantasy side, like I would have picked him before I picked any top receiver when he played in New Orleans, but for some reason, none of the teams that he's been with, including Seattle, can get that production out of him like Drew Brees and Sean Payton did while he was in New Orleans. He has the talent, and he's tall.
Yeah,
he can go up against anybody.
Who's
Who's gonna defend him? And he's not as injury prone as a Gronk is.
Yeah, it's that game there. I mean, I guess Detroit's favored in that game, 3.5 points. Wow, Detroit's favored at home against Chicago. I definitely think Chicago will win the game.
I beg to differ. I think Matt Stafford is going to have to actually
we got another one.
step up.
Stafford, man, I mean, again, he's okay, underachiever in my opinion, but that'll be. I don't even watch those games, to be honest with you. I watch good quality football. And,
so as a fantasy guy, I have to watch it all. I have to watch them all and follow all the players because you never know.
Yeah, well, it'll be an interesting game.
Another division game. Miami at New England.
Yeah. New England -6.5 at home. What you think? Who you like? What's going to go on here? Dolphins any good this year? New England with Cam should be a lot of fun to watch, but New England lost a lot of guys on defense, man.
Yeah, and
they lost a lot of guys.
Quite a few players actually opt out not to play this year for them.
Yeah. Some damn good ones too.
So hopefully Cam and Edelman have that same bromance that Edelman had with Brady. I think that system in New England has proven to actually have winners. You've seen what Bill Belichick was able to do with with quarterbacks that with less talent that actually perform decent, like a Jimmy Garoppolo that end up going elsewhere and not necessarily flourish right away. I think with the talent of Cam, they'll win this one.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Fitzpatrick, Fitzpatrick is, almost 40?
900 years old.
Oh, my God. And
just look at his beard. He's never shaved in the NFL.
Then
907 years old.
And that position is really not
An
Fitzpatrick.
average on a good day.
And that position is not necessarily Fitzpatrick. It's not Fitzpatrick right now. He's basically holding it for Tua until Tua
they're gonna
gets
hold him back.
gets healthy. So once so this is just a game to get get them through. Despite it being a division, I think they will play close, but at the end, the better coach, and there's nothing like. And for some reason, Bill Belichick likes to do this with his proteges, and he likes to stick it to them when he plays them. And this is another protege that's going to be on the other side of the field that he's going to stick it to.
Yeah, well, I agree with you. I think New England will easily cover 6.5 and win that game. Now we're on to the Las Vegas Raiders in Carolina, with the Raiders being favored. The Raiders are favored in that game. In Carolina, they must think Carolina has nothing. Raiders favored by, let me put my glasses on, is that right?
Yeah, because
in Carolina, Raiders favored by 3. Okay.
The reason
the Raiders are decent this year? I know they're not a decent defense.
No, the defense needs to definitely be better. But with Carr playing for a contract, and then with Jacobs, hopefully he doesn't have a sophomore slump.
Great player.
But then you also have a new quarterback in Carolina with Bridgewater. But then we also have the number 1 running back, especially on the fantasy side, with McCaffrey. So we'll see. It's almost one of those where at a given 3 for a home for -3 for a road team, I would almost like it's almost like a pick 'em.
It makes it a little tough because
yes, absolutely.
I don't think that the Raiders are proven enough to go into Carolina and win.
I would stay away from that one, me personally.
I'll take Carolina.
So then I have to go with the hometown Raiders then, because
okay, that's fair. Carolina.
Just because if I pick with you, I'm always gonna pick on the
because
I want to be on the right side of picking.
You know, it's like do you watch the NBA show with Charles Barkley? That he always guarantees wins, and I think he's won 1 this year where he's guaranteed. People always bet opposite of Charles.
Are you comparing yourself to the great Sir Charles?
I know more about sports than he does. He was a good basketball player, but he don't know jack about those games. Shaq and Kenny know more than he does.
Have you ever seen his golf swing?
Oh, horrible. The worst golf swing in the history of great athletes. The worst. Anyways, Charles needed to mix a salad in once in a while. Charles is eating way too much. Anyways, we love you, Charles. You're a good man. Terrible analyst. Just kidding. Anyways, I'll take Carolina by about 7 or 8. I think Carolina's going to wear that defense down, and McCaffrey's going to have a big game. And I think that it's going to be Carolina. Next up, the underachieving Cleveland Browns versus the Baltimore Ravens, who couldn't get to the Super Bowl after everybody said they would get there.
Another division.
Who you like?
It's a division game. I think
7.5 Baltimore's favorite.
Yeah, because it's disarray in.
That's a lot.
It's disarray in Cleveland.
You think even with the new coach, he hasn't brought those troops together?
No, I don't think so. And it has to do with the leadership of Baker Mayfield. For some reason, for what is going on 3 seasons now with OBJ, and the fact that they should be best buddies. They should be so in sync right now, but for some reason they're not. And you have a Baltimore team that's coming in with a chip on their shoulder.
You better believe it.
They felt that they should have went to the Super
Very
Bowl.
well put. Chip on their shoulder this year.
You have Jackson, Ingram, Brown. They want to show it. They're going to make a statement, and I think especially because it's a division game, they're going to show up and let everybody else in the division know that, hey, we're only going to get better.
Yeah. There's a little bit of a problem there with no Earl Thomas. I mean, the guy can't behave well, so they released him. What are they going to do at safety? He's one of the best in the game. Without Earl Thomas, I think it might be a little disarray on defense. But
it might be.
Maybe not.
It might be.
Maybe he was a cancer there.
And that's one of the things I don't want to speculate. But a lot of times what happens is, despite talent, if you are setting a bad example and you're in a sense disrupting the culture of the team, that's not good for the young ones coming up, and that's the quickest way for a coach to lose the locker room. So losing the locker room like that would be bad for Harbaugh, and he doesn't want that. So it's
No.
might as well just
He's not that he's not that type of coach that's going to lose a lot.
No.
He's a good dude.
So you cut talent before you do that.
Yeah.
Same thing where
That was an odd move, though. But
Surprising.
Again,
It's surprising.
Again, I don't understand it, but they know what's going on inside the locker room. I don't know Jack about what's going on in the locker room. But anyways, I will take Baltimore in that game by 10 or more.
It's a division game. I'll always stay within 6 points in the locker room.
Oh, okay.
6 points.
So you're taking Cleveland?
No, for the points. Oh, of course not. No. For the win.
For the points.
For
talking
the
about
win.
For the win. You'd say Cleveland wins the game?
No,
Baltimore
Baltimore
wins the game, but not by more than 6.5.
6.5.
I'll say Baltimore wins by more than 6.5. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Here we go over here. Los Angeles versus Cincinnati. Chargers -6. They just lost their free safety, out for the year.
So with Tyrod actually taking over the spot at quarterback, that shows a lot of confidence. The fact that they decided to go that route with that confidence in him, I'll go more towards the Chargers. Joe Burrow has to show me more. I need more than I need to see him at least 4 or 5 games.
I agree
to
with
see some type of consistency to even jump on the Cincinnati bandwagon.
I agree with you, and I think it's actually -3, not 6. That's why I need to put my glasses on. It's a -3 again on the road. Chargers win that game easily. Cincinnati, Burrow's going to have a tough time. Bosa's going to come after him like he hasn't seen a defensive end come after him. And
Plus, you have
the Chargers are pretty good.
Yeah, you have-
Melvin Ingram at linebacker. The Chargers got some players, man, on defense. I don't know if they're good enough to do anything, but
they have on the offense side. They have Eckler as on the running back, and
I
then
like
they have
him. I like him.
then they have Keenan Allen on the wide receiver. And
Great
and
receiver.
The only problem is he just got paid, so for some reason they when they get paid, the production goes down. They're not as hungry because they.
He seems like the kind of guy to me that is just a hard worker, though. I like him.
Yeah, hopefully.
Man, he's a go-to guy. I saw so
Absolutely.
many times with Rivers. Rivers would find him, and what an excellent receiver, man.
And I hope Keenan Allen is what Gates was
Man, that's hard that's hard to achieve. Gates was unbelievable. What a player.
He
Basketball
was always open.
Man, Antonio Gates was a star.
He was 7-11.
Yeah, that guy was a star, man. So you agree with me? The Chargers are going to win that game with a
I'll take Chargers.
Okay, now we got Arizona, San Francisco. At San Francisco. San Francisco favored by 7 points. They got something to prove too. I think they're playing with the chip.
They do.
They got great management.
Hopefully they don't have the Super Bowl hangover where
I don't think so.
they beat up on themselves, saying that shoulda coulda done more in it. But you also have a young quarterback with the best wide receiver, I think, in football, despite him getting paid.
Yeah, paid good.
He's gonna be in good for a while.
Yeah. Shame on Houston. Shame on Houston for letting him go. Hopkins, I think, personally, is the best receiver in the NFL. I believe Andre Hopkins is the best receiver in the NFL. That's just my opinion. And we'll get into that on another show.
I don't
we'll get into that another show.
I don't like agreeing with you, but this time right is right, and I'll say yes.
He's great. I mean, I love that guy. But the 49ers, I think the 49ers will dominate that game and win by 14 or more. So we both agree on the 49ers, but you don't agree with the point total that high.
No.
Okay. Next up, good game here. Pittsburgh and your other team in New York, the New York Giants. Pittsburgh -5. Let me just tell you quickly, that is my pick of the week. All you people out there, you want to make some money, bet on Pittsburgh and give the 5 points in New York. I believe Pittsburgh will trounce them. They will win easily that game. I don't believe New York has anything. Well, they got a great running back in Barkley, but you got to have somebody to block for them. Their quarterback, I believe, is average, and maybe not even average. But I believe Pittsburgh will dominate that game and win easily. And if you want to make your big bet of the weekend, that's my pick of the week. My pick of the week is take Pittsburgh, give the 5 points, and you're going to be counting your cash at the end of the game and thanking me. Don't forget to tune in and tell me thanks. Email me. Get to John Styles at WWDBTV. That is my pick of the week. What more do we have to say after that?
Or you can get a hold of him and tell him he don't know Jack.
Oh yeah, you can do that too. I mean, I'm not gonna be right all the time. I'm probably about 50%. So, I talk confidently, but I'm average at this really. But we'll see how it goes during the year. It's football season, and so I'm gonna take Pittsburgh the 5 points, and again, that's my pick of the week. I'll give you a pick every week, but that's my pick of the week.
I'll take Pittsburgh too, but I don't know about the 5 points. I'll just do a straight up on that.
You don't think they'll beat the Giants by more than 5?
Okay. It's football. The thing with sports is you don't know the outcome. For some reason, Big Ben can get hurt on the first play. You'd never know. Juju can get hurt so that he has no one to throw it to. So
as clumsy as I am, I can trip and fall on the way out of here. But I'll
absolutely.
tell you what, I think Pittsburgh, you talk about a chip on his shoulder more than anybody in the NFL. They have a chip on their shoulder. Ben has a chip on his shoulder, and they will come back. They started the season horrible last year. They got in a real bad predicament the way they started the year last year, and they were in disarray, and then all the problematic things that happened, and a pretty bad quarterback behind Ben. But I believe Pittsburgh, if they can stay healthy, and that's true for every team, you got to stay healthy. But I believe that Pittsburgh is going to have a big year. So that's my take on it, bro. Next game, Tampa Bay. Oh, Mr. Tom Brady and all his new friends, Gronk, and who just signed over there. Leonard Fournette is over there now, a bunch of defensive linemen.
Who's not there?
Exactly. Everybody
who?
went to Tampa Bay. That's a pretty good ball club. What you think in New Orleans? New Orleans favored by 3 points.
I consider that the Father Time Bowl, where you have both. One of these quarterbacks will end up being the greatest of all time at that position.
Yeah.
So, but Michael Thomas, Kamara, and Breeze, I'm gonna give them a chance. I think on paper, Tampa Bay looks good, but the chemistry in New Orleans, it's already there. So, I think that will in a sense prevail.
I absolutely agree with you, 100%. It happens.
Oh, right is right.
Hey,
see, he can.
Hey, it happens. I think New Orleans giving 3 to Tampa Bay, Tampa on the road, a new ball club. I just have to believe in Breeze in New Orleans, and they got an arsenal on offense, man. They are loaded on offense. Michael Thomas, when you talk about great receivers, he may be the best in the NFL. I keep talking about Andre Hopkins, but I get down here to him, and I say, maybe I'm wrong, but they're both pretty good. But I'll take New Orleans, and I agree with you. And we'll see what happens. Dallas at the Los Angeles Raiders. Dallas by 3.
At the Rams.
I mean, at the Los Angeles Rams. I'm sorry. I get the L.A. Raiders, whatever it's all. At the L.A. Rams. -3 to Dallas on the road.
Well, this is
what you think.
This is supposed to be the year for Dallas. Based on the way the other teams in the division look, they're supposed to be the team to win the division. So this game is going to be their, in a sense, coming out moment, showing up, where Prescott, even though he's they put a franchise tag on him, making 31 million. Yeah. So he's still playing for a contract, and I think this year, and he's going to come out and make a statement that you guys should have paid me because now it's going to cost you more. And LA, for some reason, they haven't been the same LA season from 3 years ago.
Yeah. Not
to mention Gurley is not there anymore. So what's gonna keep the defense honest with Goff?
Yeah, and Goff didn't have a good year last year.
No, he didn't.
I think Dallas is loaded. There's something telling me they're going to go into Los Angeles and lose the first game.
No, not with that O-line. The O-line is
and their defensive line is awesome. I mean, Dallas is a tough team. It's just a gut feeling that something's telling me that it's going to be a high-scoring game. First of all, very high-scoring. Dallas will probably win, but there's something telling me the Rams are going to win that first game at home in that new stadium, and I'm going to take the Rams in the points.
I'm going to go Dallas.
Okay. Got it. I like it. I think you're more than likely right. Sometimes I get a gut feeling about games, and I'll go with that. That means that I won't bet that game. There's a lot of games here that I won't bet. I definitely will bet Pittsburgh. You know, I love to put a little bet down on NBA and all that stuff.
On a side note, like
Yes.
we should be in the studio more often because I when I'm home, I don't hear that I'm right this often, so I like being here.
Well, listen, brother. When I'm
So,
home,
kid,
I agree with you.
I don't even want to leave
I
now.
agree with you. Listen. What is right is right. You're a great prognosticator. You know sports. You know sports, and you know what? You wouldn't be on the show if you didn't know what you were talking about. This show wouldn't be happening. You do know what you're talking about.
No, but it's just like
I think
being.
I'm
just
more
like being,
erratic than you.
I just like being
Hey,
told I'm right. I don't get that. I don't get that at
Listen,
home.
you're right. You're right. I think Dallas is going to win, but I'm going to take the Rams.
Okay.
Is that contradictory or what?
No, it is. It's a little bit, but hey,
Is that a little bit flaky? Or
No,
hey,
it's-
I'm going to straight up say the Rams, but I'm not going to bet the game. So how convinced am I?
and our last
you
one
know,
is a pick 'em.
Pick 'em. Denver, Tennessee.
It is a pick 'em, but it's not necessarily.
It's a pick 'em game.
It's a pick 'em game before Von Miller got hurt.
Yeah.
Now that Von Miller is not going to be playing, I'm going to go with Tennessee.
Okay. You know, it's interesting because Tennessee, of course, had that great run at the title last year. They looked really good, and I actually thought there was a point in that game they were going to beat Kansas City, and what were they up 24-0 or whatever it was. And Kansas City came running. I couldn't believe it at halftime. I said, Tennessee is going to go through all these teams and beat them. They beat Baltimore. They're going to beat Kansas City, and then here came Kansas City, man. They came running. Wasn't it 24-0 or 17-0?
It was crazy, but I expected them to use Derrick Henry more, using that, have him run out that clock, and he is such a big back.
Yep.
Wow.
Talented and speedy. You know, the interesting thing is Denver lost games last year, but they were so close. Denver was in about every single game last year. They played good defense, and as you said, Von Miller was part of that. This game here, I really, to me, it's a Monday night game. I'm definitely going to go with Tennessee. No doubt about it in a pick 'em. I think they're the much more experienced team. I think they play excellent defense. Great running back, very capable quarterback. Their quarterback's capable.
Yeah, Drew Lock, between Drew Lock throwing the ball and Melvin Gordon running it, we'll see what they can do.
Yeah, hey, Gordon may be the difference in Denver, He may be the difference maker for that team. It was a good pickup for them. That was a great pickup for them, but I think, he had a terrible year last year with the Chargers.
And a lot of that had to do with him holding out.
Yeah, ridiculously.
And it didn't pay off.
What did it accomplish? Nothing. He had a horrible year. The Chargers had a horrible year.
So you know why I'm even more upset about him? Because I picked him up. I want to say like the third round. I picked him up last year, and he did not perform for me. He was just taking up space on my roster. Oh.
So, who's your best fantasy player this year? In the NFL, who did you draft? That's any? I know you're a big fantasy player, and you guys play for money and have all that fun. And fantasy football is excellent, and you got to watch that stuff on Sunday and have nobody bother you. And so tell me.
I picked up Prescott for my quarterback, and then
that's a good start.
I also I picked up Cousins too as my backup.
I love Cousins. There's something about the guy I like.
Depends on. I got to see who's gonna perform better with their O-line, and then that's gonna be my deciding factor. And it's gonna be on matchup on week to week. But this week I went with Prescott.
Okay. So that's our first week. We analyzed it. We agreed on some. We didn't agree on others, and we told each other we were crazy on some others.
Yeah, this week it was a little lengthy because we didn't get a chance to go through in a sense all the teams and go through and talk about them. But this was an opportunity for us to dive in a little bit. So this week's show was a little bit lengthy.
This show to me was awesome. I think that we might get to the point where we like football so much and there's so many games, we might just have a weekly football show. And because there's so many other things going on, we didn't even touch baseball. We got the Preakness coming up and horse racing. That'll be interesting. We'll talk about that next week. NBA will be really deep into it. So there's a lot of sports to talk about, and football takes up a lot. But this has been a great show. Thank you. You do know Jack. It's been a lot of fun. And anything to add before we close today? And we covered a lot of ground. And do you have a final comment in closing?
In closing, I just want to I'm just happy that sports is back. I remember when our little situation where we just started, where we lost sports, and
Yeah, wow.
you know, a lot of times, despite what's going on in our lives, sports took away that, where it was either 3-4 hours of just following our team, you know, following the stories in love, and then we were able to, in a sense, escape for a couple hours. And you know, we lost that for a few months with everything being canceled, and I'm happy it's back, and I can't wait to let you guys know how things are going throughout the season. What's going on?
Oh, it's going to be fun, and every week it'll be lively after we see results, and that's going to be the fun, the results of these games we picked. And but I have one last question for you.
Yes, sir.
What's your pick of the week? Give our audience a pick of the week. Give them something.
My pick of the week is actually, I'm gonna go with the Father Time Bowl, and I'm gonna go with New Orleans.
Okay, good. And as you know, Pittsburgh, I'm very adamant about Pittsburgh covering that bet and winning a lot of money for me. So not a lot. I don't bet a lot of money, but it's fun. Anyways, thanks for watching. This has been a great show. Thank you, my brother.
Thank you,
It's
and I
always
can't
fun.
wait to prove that you don't know Jack.
I know Jack. Hey, this guy all the time. You know, he's had me this last week. I didn't have a great week. He was right on the Kentucky Derby, and I was really wrong on a Boston-Toronto game, which he killed me on. But anyways, thanks for watching. This was fun. Tune in next week. As I say, our goal here is to have response from you, to have you involved. Get a hold of us here at WWDBTV. John Stiles, email in, talk to us. Give us your comments. We want you involved. This is an interactive show. I want your opinions. Tell me what you think about my Dallas Stars pick. Tell me what you think about my Pittsburgh pick. Tell me what you think about I think the Raiders are going to lose. So you know, I'm not, contrary to what a lot of you believe, I got to be me. I always got to be me. So thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week. Great show. God bless. Good luck on your bets. Have a great, great weekend. Enjoy the NFL. We'll talk to you soon. Peace out.